tardes. ¿Cómo estás? I am so... I had been throwing up since last night. So sick. And, really stressed out. Really pissed off. My grandmother has to have another heart surgery. She had to go to the emergency room on Friday. And we don't even know if she can have the surgery because they have to see if her kidney is like well enough for them to do it. So I'm really like pissed off about that. Pissed off that I couldn't go to work today because I was throwing up, couldn't eat. I finally forked down some food and I feel a little better, so I just threw on some concealer, some blush, some eyeliner. Obviously I didn't do my fucking brows. I feel so mad, and I was thinking about this story and I thought, you know what, I need to stop thinking about things that piss me off because I need to calm down. So why not just let it all out while I'm in the mood to be a bitch? There's no way in hell. Actually, I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this, me telling the story in the last like the hair cutting video that I did. I think I mentioned that I wanted to tell the story, but I didn't want to be petty and tell it while I was still living in that situation, blah 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 blah. So basically this is a crazy roommate story. It's the only crazy roommate I've ever fucking had, and really she wasn't crazy. I won't say that she was crazy, but the situation was fucking crazy. And like I said, she's the only bad roommate I've ever had. Even when I went to China, even when I went to fucking Cuba, all of my roommates have been good except for this one, my last semester of fucking college. As you can tell, there's no way that this video is gonna get monetized. I will be thoroughly surprised if this video gets monetized. I'm going to be using a lot of profanity in this because I feel very strongly about this fucking situation. I'm going to try to keep my voice at an ASMR level. I had plans to make this a mukbang, but I couldn't eat today. And honestly, to be honest, I'm really tired of like thinking about the situation too, but I definitely wanted to like put it, like record it. So I really want to just like start mentally, because it's me up for a really long time. Like, let's get into the story, okay? Because I've been talking for 3 minutes and haven't said shit about it. So this last semester of school, so the girl that I did the hair brushing, I'm gonna try to keep my voice down. The girl that I did the hair brushing video with, that I brushed her hair, okay, she was my roommate this semester, and she's not the girl that I'm like talking about. Her name's Jenny, and we have been friends for probably like, I want to say, yeah, like 3 years, the whole time that I was at my college, yeah. But like it was like a slow friendship. We met through other people, and we weren't like, it wasn't like, oh, we like clicked straight off the bat. It took like a really long time for us to kind of like get to know each other, because she's a really quiet person. So and I was always kind of like with other people too, but like, so it took a long time for us to get close. But eventually like our paths kept crossing, we started hanging out more, and then eventually I was like, oh yeah, like she's really cool. And my junior year at school, we decided to be suite mates with my roommate Deja, who was my first roommate at my school, and she's amazing. So these two girls, amazing. That's why I'm using their real names, because they're amazing people. They've never pissed me off, ever, actually no, Jenny did piss me off one time, but we squashed that because that's what friends do. We talk about things that piss us off and you squash them. Okay, so Jenny had her own set of friends, okay? And I wasn't really, like, there was one girl that we would hang out with that I liked, but the other few people that she hung out with, I wasn't really vibing with that much, so I never really, like, that's another reason why it took me a long time, took us a long time for us to get close, because I never really, not to say I didn't fuck with her friends, but like I didn't really vibe that well with her friends. Yeah, there was one girl in particular, and I'm gonna call her Pikachu because I'm a petty ass bitch and I don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna call her Pikachu. And when I met Pikachu with my roommate Deja, and Jenny was there and a couple other people. And I remember this because we met at a trivia night that my school was having, and I couldn't stand her straight off the bat. She's one of those people who have an incredibly loud and obnoxious personality. Like, some of y'all motherfuckers think I'm loud, some of y'all motherfuckers think I'm annoying. No, you've never met a bitch like that. You would think that I'm the tamest. You would think that I'm the tamest compared to that. Like, a lot of people think I'm so dramatic. You haven't seen shit until you've met this bitch, okay? And right off the bat, I didn't fucking like her. I didn't fucking like her because I was like, why is she so loud? Why is she this? Why is she that? And honestly, to be completely honest, at that time, I was like giving my roommate looks. I was like, every time Pikachu would say something that I thought was stupid, I would like look and then look at her and not laugh, and then would like spark up another conversation. So to be honest, I was being a mean girl at that point. I will take full responsibility of that. I was being a fucking bitch. And I kind of like made it my mission to kind of like not associate with her, because eventually Jenny was telling me about this club, creative writing club, and I love writing, so of course I wanted to be in it. And when I finally joined the club, but yeah, I couldn't find any time because of like my hectic music schedule. So when I finally found the time, guess who I saw who was in the fucking club? Pikachu. And she like blew me. She was always trying to be the center of conversation. Whenever people were reading their like, we would do prompts and we would like write stuff for a little bit, and then if we wanted to share, we would go around the room and share whatever. Whenever people would be sharing their stuff, she would just be like making jokes or like interrupting like out loud, not even like whispering to someone, but like out loud making jokes. And she always like wrote erotica and stuff in the club. Like, okay, write erotica if you want to, but like, bitch, is that the only thing you know how to write? But anyway, and it was always like weird erotica too. Like, it didn't even have any plot lines. It was like, anyway. So basically, the way that this even, because I'm sure you're like, okay, if you didn't like this bitch, how the fuck did she become your roommate? I'll tell you. So my junior year, me and Deja had applied. Our school was like basically getting rid of the trad dorms that me and Deja were staying in, like, all except for one. And the way that my fucking money was set up, because I think I would mention it, I paid for college by myself, so I had a very strict thing of what I could afford and what I couldn't. And besides the trad dorms, the only other things available were the suites. This new dorm building that they had set up that was so overly expensive. and the apartments, and then these other dorms that were like way more money. I couldn't afford anything but the trad dorm that was still gonna be open. Well, at the last second, they closed down that trad dorm when we had already applied for it. Like, I'm pretty sure we had already paid the money to be in it too. So the school was nice enough to upgrade us to live in the suites for the same exact price. And when we found out about it, we were like, oh, okay, so the way that the suites are set up, you have a living room, your own bathroom, and 2 separate dorm rooms. So the whole suite can enclose 4 people. And I knew that Jenny's living situation was like, she was already living in the suites, but her roommates were leaving. She had lived with Pikachu. She lived with Pikachu and 2 other girls, but they were leaving. One of them was like dropping out of school. Pikachu was moving to the apartments, and the other girl, I have no idea what she was doing. Anyway, so I hit up Jenny and I was like, hey, do you want a room with me and Deja? And she was like, yeah. That way, like, even though she would still have like a random roommate, like at least it would be like 3 of us who are friends, blah 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 blah. Okay. Anyway, so we have the other roommate, and she was cool at first. Like, she was cool. Like, she is cool, but like, we never got that close to the girl, which is neither here or there. Like, we did go out with her a few times. Well, I did. I went out with her a few times, and then she like, I found out weeks later that one time she took a video of me while I was throwing up in a toilet and just kind of like had it in her phone. So that kind of like put me off from her, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, because Jenny was living with us, well, that meant that her friends was coming over to the dorm more often. Our friend, he eventually became my friend, and I love him now, Glenn, came over to our dorm a lot. He was my friend before, but like this semester is when we really started getting really close because he was there all the time. And then Pikachu came over, not a lot, but like she would come over often enough to the point where I was like, okay, I should try to learn how to like this girl, at least like get along with this girl, because I don't want Jenny to have to feel like she can't invite her over because I don't like her. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm being kind of like a bitch, because like I really did like the first time that I met her, I was like, fuck this bitch. So maybe I really didn't give her like a fair chance, and maybe I'm, being a cunt. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm gonna be saying the word cunt a lot, so if you don't like that, you really should just click out of this fucking video. What was I saying? So time went by and her personality stayed the same, but I just chose not to get so annoyed with it. And I realized that she was really only like that around like big groups of people. Whenever it was just like a smaller kind of group of people, she tended to be more chill, and I could actually have conversations with her. So eventually I was like, okay, she grew on me a little bit. I was like, okay, she's not that bad to be around. I got used to her. Now, the story is so long because it has so many parts to it, and I want to be able to tell it in its entirety. So, like I said, the reason why Jenny didn't have a roommate to live with was because Pikachu moved to the apartments and the other girls moved out. So Pikachu moved in with a girl who we're gonna call, I'm gonna be petty as fuck. We're gonna call this bitch Seafoam for Seafoam Blue. And so her and Seafoam did a lot of things together. They had a lot of things in common, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So eventually, I almost said this bitch's real name. Eventually, Pikachu started asking me and Jenny and Glenn and Deja if we wanted to go to over their apartment so we could play like Dungeons and Dragons with them. And I had always thought that Dungeons and Dragons was such a cool game, so obviously I was like so into it. I was like, yes, because I didn't really know what it was about. But the fact that you could like role play it, be different people, because I'm like not like other girls, and like I'm so about that. But anyway, I really liked the idea because I used to do like online role playing in like middle school and shit, so I've always just been into that kind of thing. Anyway, so we go, and we started doing the campaign. Seafoam was our dungeon mistress, so she was like, whatever. And our plan was to eat, like, have like a dinner night every Sunday and like meet up. And Pikachu would make dinner for us, and it was like a cute thing. Like, I really liked it at first. At first, it was really fun. The problems started. Okay, the problems started when Seafoam started getting really mad because me and Jenny had to cancel a lot because we had concerts. We were both music majors. We had concerts, we had different obligations, we had this, we had that. And when we had set up the initial meetings, it was towards the middle of the semester. The end of a semester for any musician is always busy because you have juries, you have end of the year concerts, just a whole bunch on top of like finals and all that other stuff. So we had to cancel a lot of stuff because we were just busy. And Seafoam really took that to heart. And then so did, like, at first Pikachu understood, but then they started getting really mad when we wouldn't show up to games. And there was one night in particular where we planned on going to our friend's recital, senior recital, and me, Glenn, and Jenny. And we told them that we were going to be late, and then this guy ended up like taking us to go get pizza, and we were like, oh, okay, that'll be cool. How about we just get pizza for everybody since we don't really make the dinners? We'll like, because I think she had been asking us like, hey, can we trade off who makes dinner? And we're like, yeah, totally, because you've been making dinner this whole time. So when the guy like offered to get us pizzas, we took it. We didn't know it was gonna take forever. That night was a pretty annoying night because like he was just weird the whole time. That's a whole other like story, but like he was pissing Glenn off a lot. Like he kept being like weird about how we were closing his car door. Like it was a whole thing. And then he came over for D&D and it was just weird. But anyway, so when we told them that we were gonna be late, they kept saying, well, when are you gonna be here? When are you gonna be here? And the guy, he kept like wanting to talk to other people that was like at our school and like stuff like that, and we didn't know how to be like, yeah, we're kind of on a time crunch, because he was like driving us. None of us had cards. He was driving us to go get the pizzas. He was offering to pay for the whole thing, and he was offering to take us back to her apartment. So we didn't really know how do you rush someone who is offering to be that generous. So we had a group chat dedicated to the D&D thing, and basically an argument started because Seafoam basically decided, even though she was the type of bitch that would say something in a chat but would never say anything to your face, so I can't remember because this was exactly what was said because this was like 2 years ago, but basically, yeah, we just had an argument in the group chat. Glenn got really pissed in the group chat. We all were pissed off, but we ended up still going to their place anyway. But after that, it was just never the same because we were like, this was supposed to be fun for us, and you guys are just kind of like taking it too seriously. Like, I'm not sure how other D&D people play. Maybe like a lot of people take that game seriously, but for us, we had never played D&D before, and like whenever we like set up social stuff or set up game times, we would always be like 10 or 15 minutes late. I would come late because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do my homework first, blah 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 blah. And I think that for them was like annoying, and it kind of like built up to that moment. But for me, I always go to shit late. Like, that's just the type of bitch that I am. And my friend Glenn, he can't show up to anything on time to save his, love you Glenn, I know you're watching, can't show up on time to nothing to save his fucking life. So Jenny was always usually there on time, but me and Glenn were usually late, if I remember that correctly. I know I was late. Anyway, but it was never that deep for me, so I didn't realize that they were taking it that deep until it had boiled up to that moment. Any old ways. So it was never the same after that, and after that we were kind of like, yeah. Me and Glenn definitely did not play it anymore with them after that. I'm not sure if Jenny stuck around, can't remember. Anyway, and then after that, because like me and Seafoam, if we had saw each other on campus, we would say hi. But after that situation, she just, like, she would do that thing where like you walk by someone you know and then you just avert eye contact and you act like they're not even there, that dumbass shit. So I was like, okay, I guess we're not cool. The fuck. Anyway, so fall semester of senior year, Jenny moved in to the apartments with Seafoam, Pikachu, and another girl. And me and Deja had moved into the apartments too because I needed to live in the apartments in order to not have a meal plan because I couldn't afford a meal plan anymore. And so Deja was nice enough to like follow me to the apartments. She's always been a great roommate. And we roomed with two randoms that actually worked out pretty good. Like I said, I didn't have any shitty roommate situation until last semester. And even with the two randoms that we got paired with, they were pretty nice. The one girl, she was kind of annoying like sometimes, but I'm sure I probably annoyed her too a little bit. But it was never anything like I was like talking shit about her to other people. That never happened. Like, it was never that deep. It would just be little shit like it was really annoying when she didn't clean up after herself, but that's, I mean, people go through that all the time. Anyway, so Deja was graduating. The first random girl was moving into another apartment, and I was like, I do not want to be like with a dead ass random in my dead ass room. Conveniently for me, the fourth person that was rooming with Jenny, Pikachu, and Seafoam was leaving their apartment, actually leaving school completely. So I jumped on that shit. Now, to be fair, I never, because I knew that, because me and Pikachu had moved on from the whole Dungeons and Dragons situation, but because obviously, like, she was Jenny's friend, so, like, we had more time for, like, to move past and, like, whatever, so we were cool. Me and Seafoam never really had a conversation about it, and that was because I never really had opportunities to talk to her because she was Pikachu's friend, and also she was just a weird bitch. Like, I doubt she would ever have initiated a conversation with me like that, and you'll see why. So like I was saying, honestly, we didn't discuss with Seafoam at all about me moving into the dorm. We just kind of decided for ourselves if I should move into the dorm. And at first I felt like really awkward about that because I was like, damn, maybe I should be like talking to her about it. But it was like the end of senior year, fall semester of senior year, and they were telling me, they were like, oh, we don't give a fuck what that bitch thinks, like, because she's just being so weird, like. And I was like, oh, why? I thought you guys were friends. She was like, no, we don't even talk anymore. And I was like, what? And, you know, Pikachu and Seafoam were direct roommates, and Pikachu was always saying how, like, she was so fucking rude, she never cleaned up after herself, this and this and this and this. And apparently it had gotten to the point where Seafoam literally never said shit to either of them, even if they were in the same room. Even if they both tried to, like, say hi to her, she would just look at them and not say shit. So I'm listening to all this and I'm like, this sounds like really weird. Like, you mean this bitch literally just looks at you and goes into her room? And they're like, yes. And obviously there's many sides to every story, so I decided not to like have any hostility going into the situation. I was like, you know what, okay. And honestly, it was just so weird to think that I kind of just didn't really believe it. I honestly, sorry Jenny, I kind of thought that they were exaggerating at first. I really did. I thought that they were exaggerating at first, and it probably wasn't that deep. So, alright. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. I've given you 25 fucking minutes of background details. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty of what the fuck happened. So, the start of senior year, or the start of spring semester senior year. I had to be there. Oh wait, no, I didn't. We all three of us got there a day before Seafoam. And when I tell you that Pikachu was going up and down, up the walls about how Seafoam better not try her this semester, she's not fucking playing with her, like she better not say any rude shit out of her fucking mouth, she better clean up the dishes, her own dishes, she better clean up behind herself, she better contribute more to this place, blah 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 blah. And she just was talking shit about her like the whole day, because she was so amped up from all the shit that had happened last semester, that she was just like, this bitch isn't gonna do the same shit that she did before, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable, because I feel like this is a terrible way to start a living situation. And so the plan was for us to have like a roommate powwow, and for us to like set boundaries, ground rules, A, B, and C, everything like that. I can't remember what specifically happened, but that never ended up happening. That was supposed to, and I think something like came up and we had to cancel it, and then it just never happened. I can't remember exactly what it was. But honestly, for the first, I think, month or so, because this happened in January, but school started in the middle of January. So for the first few weeks, everything was fine between all four of us. And like Seafoam talked to us. It didn't seem like she was that messy. We were all doing the dishes. I never really saw Seafoam do any dishes, but me, Jenny, and Pikachu were all doing dishes. And it was just pretty harmonious. I didn't have any complaints. And the best thing about it was me, Jenny, and Pikachu were starting to get like really, really close. We, every single day after we were done with classes and whatever, we would come, and because the way the apartments were set up, they were bigger than the suites, so including the living room and the two dorm rooms and the bathroom, we also had like a vanity sink area, like a huge double sink area, and a shower and a kitchen. And we all did a pretty good job making sure that the common areas were pretty clean. I will say the living room was always a mess, and that was because Jenny like had her music lying around, Pikachu had her shit lying around, I always had my shit lying around. The first couple of weeks, I don't think I ever had really any of my shit in there, but and this is why, because every day we would come into the living room, all three of us, and we would like joke around, talk about our day and whatever. It was really cool. So over time, my shit started being in there, so it was all three of our shit in there. Seafoam never really went in the living room at all. She stayed in her room all day. But when she was out of her room, she would talk to us. And there were a few times where her door was open and she would like overhear a conversation that we were having, and then she would come out of the room and like awkwardly like butt into the conversation, but we were like, oh, okay, well at least she's talking to us, at least it's not fucking weird. And I remember one time I looked at them and I was like, you know, she's acting really cool, and they were like, yeah, that's how it started last semester too, so you just wait. So where do I even go from here? So much shit happened. So that whole month, and I think the bullshit probably started like late February or mid-February. Not really sure. But like I said, me, Pikachu, and Jenny, we started getting really, really, really close. Because we would be talking all the time. We would stay up late and talk a lot. And at the time, I had been also like FaceTiming my friend who lived in another country, and we would be talking, and Pikachu always wanted to talk to him, and she'd be like, oh my god, he's so fucking cute, blah 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 blah. And at the time, me and him, we were kind of like talking to each other, but eventually we just realized we were better off as friends, so we're just friends now. But yeah, like she was like, oh my god, you're so fucking cute, blah 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 blah. Jenny had her own little boo going on, so sometimes we would be on the phone, she'd be on the phone with him, and we would talk to him sometimes, blah 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 blah. It was cute. The fuckery started happening when eventually Pikachu stopped going to class. Not like all at once, but she would like started skipping classes and whatever. And I'd be like, dang girl, like, shouldn't you go to class? And she was like, no, like, it's whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, dang, is this normal? I would be asking Jenny, like, is this normal for her? And she'd be like, yeah, like, she always does this at like a certain point in the semester. She'll just stop going to class. And like, I've been trying to like motivate her to want to go and like whatever, but she just won't listen to me. So I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, she's my friend, but I'm not about to like try to persuade someone to do their education. Like, you're either gonna do it or you're fucking not gonna do it. So whatever. I'm trying to think of the first thing that sparked this bullshit. Pikachu was in this fraternity, and there was some drama happening in that fraternity. Oh wait, no. Was there? Yes. There was some drama happening in that fraternity that kind of like was stressing her how to think. And she had a friend in that fraternity, and I'll name her like King because I'm looking at a Burger King cup. So King, her and King were pretty close, and like sometimes me and Jenny would come home, and like King would be in our living room, and they would be talking, and it would be like whatever. I'd be like, oh, hey, what's up? Because like obviously I want to be friends with whoever my roommates are friends with, and whatever. And Pikachu always made it a point to like be like, oh yeah, my friend King's here. When she was here, like the first time that she came, she like introduced us and whatever, because Pikachu was always a stickler for people being introduced to her whenever they were brought into the dorm. And so she was like, let me return the favor, like blah blah blah. Yeah, so like her people were respecting her in her apartment or whatever was like a huge thing for her. Like she hated if like someone came in and like didn't acknowledge her, if like they were one of our guests, which didn't happen, but it happened before when she lived with Jenny in another place, with another roommate. So remember that. Anyway, let me get this ball rolling. So Pikachu started having a lot of problems, and a lot of like mental breakdowns and stuff. And I'm pretty sure one day, yeah, okay, I think this is what happened. What kind of like set the fuckery in motion. One day, because like my days were always set. I had this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. So this particular day, I was coming from band, and I had an hour to make myself dinner, eat dinner, and then go to my night class. Okay, I come in to our lobby of the apartment building, and I see Pikachu sitting with King on like the lobby couches. And at first I'm like, oh hey, what's up? What's going on? Whatever. And Pikachu turns and looks at me, and she's crying, bro. And I'm like, oh my god, what is wrong? And like in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, I don't really got time for this because I have like an hour. But I was like, no. She's my friend. She's my friend, and I would want someone and this is why this pissed me off. This pisses me off so fucking much. But I was like, I would want someone to have like that same worry for me if like I was sitting in the lobby somewhere crying. So I sat with her. For about 45 minutes, listening to her talk about like how she was so sad but she didn't know why, and blah blah blah, this and that and that and that. And I was telling her like, girl, and she was telling me a bunch of stuff about her family and stuff, which I'm not gonna talk about, obviously I'm not that fucking petty. But she was just saying like, basically it was, I'm really depressed and sad and I don't know why. And we were saying like, okay, you need to talk to someone. You can't just be going through this and like be having like breakdowns. And she was saying like, yeah, I try to act like everything's okay all the time, but it's not. And I'm like, that's not healthy. You really need to talk to someone. And I'm pretty sure that day is when she decided, okay, I'm gonna go to the school counselor, I'm gonna get help, blah 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 blah. Okay, so obviously after that, it was always in my mind to like check up on her, make sure she's good, like whatever. And I thought that that moment had really brought us together, because even though I had a strict schedule, because food for me is like, if I don't eat when I'm supposed to eat, I can't fucking function. So the fact that I had done that for her, like, I was like, yeah, this is a girl that I consider my friend, and I hope that, you know, she knows. And I told her, I was like, girl, you can talk to me and Jenny about anything, like, you don't have to be sitting in this lobby crying. And she's like, oh, I don't want to burden you guys. I'm like, no, like, because literally days before I had a crazy mental breakdown, and I literally texted Jenny and I was like, can I please have a hug? And this bitch came into our room and she said, of course, you don't gotta ask. And we hugged, I cried, told her about all the shits that was happening, and she was there for me. She didn't know all the right things to say. She really didn't know how to help that much, because obviously it was my situation. But she was there for me, let me vent, hugged me, because I'm the type of person, like, if I'm really sad, I need someone, like, I need physical touch. I need someone to tell me it's gonna be okay, like. So I told her, I was like, girl, Jenny literally, I asked Jenny for a hug and she gave me a hug. Like, you can talk to us. This isn't like some type of shit where you need to feel uncomfortable. And she was like, okay, I'll keep that in mind for next time. Thank you. So I'm pretty sure a week goes by. Jenny was out at a rehearsal. I had went on a date. And we come back, for some reason, I don't really know why, but we had came back to the room at the same exact time. And I'm telling her about the day as we're walking to our door and whatever. And we open the door and King is sitting on our couch. And we're like, oh, hey. Expecting to see Pikachu in the room. She wasn't in the room, and King was just there like doing her homework and shit, and we're like, oh, what's up, what's going on? And she's like, oh yeah, Pikachu's in her room sleeping. I'm just like, okay, bitch, what the fuck are you doing here then? Like, not that I didn't like the girl, but it's like, why are you in my living room just chilling? That's really fucking weird. Like, that's really, because she wasn't our friend, she was Pikachu's friend. The only time I talked to this bitch was when Pikachu was around, so I was like, what are you doing here? It was like 10 o'clock at night. What are you doing here? So then she goes and tells us, I don't really know the details of everything, but Pikachu had a really bad dream, and she called her mom, and her mom's coming to pick her up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm just here to make sure she's okay. And we're like, what the hell? And she was like, I was like, well, what the hell was the dream about? And she was like, yeah, she had a dream where that was so bad. I don't know what the dream was because she wouldn't tell me, but she had a dream, and when she woke up, she felt like harming herself. And she called her mom, she freaked out and blah blah this and that. And me and Jenny were so freaking worried. We go into her room and she's asleep. I tried to like wake her up just a little bit just to see if she would wake up, but I didn't want to like wake her up all the way if she was having like a good sleep, so she was obviously sleeping. So we left out of the room and we were so worried because we were like, oh my gosh, this like came out of nowhere. I really hope that she's okay, whatever. So, and this was on a Saturday. So the next morning we woke up a little bit earlier than normal. I had to go to work that day. Jenny had to go to like a rehearsal or something. And we wake up and Pikachu was gone. So we're like, damn, I guess her mom came to get her or whatever. So, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to edit this. I'm gonna have to just record this in one clip and upload it because there's no way I'm gonna have enough room, because this looks like it's gonna be like an hour-long video. There's no way I'm gonna be able to like record this and edit it and save a whole new copy. So her mom, so we were like, okay, I guess her mom came to pick her up. I hope she's okay. I hope she's coming back, blah, 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 blah. Pretty sure I sent her a text and was like, hey, I heard you weren't doing too well. I hope everything's okay. Because we had a group chat that Seafoam wasn't a part of, but we had a group chat for me, her, and Jenny, and I was like, hey, I hope everything's okay. We're a little worried about you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm in my room, I'm getting ready, Jenny's in the shower, and then I hear someone open the door. And Seafoam was always gone during the weekends, so I knew it wasn't her. And she never came back until like late Sunday night. So I come out of my room, and it's Pikachu and her mom. And it's Pikachu and her mom. And I come out of the room and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And I shit you not, her mom just gave me like the dirtiest look. Her mom literally looked me up and down and didn't say shit to me. I'm not even exaggerating. And Pikachu, I almost said that bitch's real name again. Pikachu didn't say anything either. So I was just like, okay. And so I'm going in the kitchen, because they were like standing near the bar that we had that was near the kitchen. So I start making my lunch and my breakfast for the day and stuff. And Pikachu's mom just starts saying a bunch of shit like, you guys have it so messy in here. I can't remember what she specifically said. She was like, I ought to fight all y'all because y'all got it so messy in here, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, we're busy people. Like, if we have a messy apartment, we just have a messy apartment. Like, I was annoyed, but I was like, because I was like, whatever, okay, this bitch's mom is like doing the most, but whatever. And so finally, after like 5 minutes of that, Pikachu was finally like, oh, by the way, this is my roommate. She replaced the other girl that used to live here. I'm like, and I was like, yeah, it's nice to meet you. And she was like, I can't remember what that bitch said. Probably not nice to meet you too. But anyway, so Pikachu, after they were like talking and stuff, I can't remember what they were talking about. But then I think like 5 minutes later, Pikachu looked at me and was like, hey, I'm gonna walk my mom out. I'll be right back. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I figured like when she came back, we would like talk and whatever. Well, I looked at my time on my phone and my bitch ass was running late for work, like always. So I was like rushing. And I finally get my shit together and I'm walking out, and she hadn't came back by then. So I walk out. And actually, before I left, Jenny had come out of the shower, and I told her how like Pikachu's mom came, and She was like, oh, she's here. And I was like, yeah. And she like walked her house. I guess she's not like going home for the weekend or like staying, because we thought, from the way that King had made it sound, we thought that she was going to be staying there for a couple of days and like missing school and stuff. But apparently that wasn't the case. And then I told her, her mom just looked at me up and down at first and didn't say anything, and it took a while for Pikachu to like introduce me and stuff. And Jenny was like, that's really weird. And I was like, yeah, but whatever, as long as she's feeling better, it's fine. So I walk out to go to work, and I walk out to go to work, and what was I gonna say? Sorry, mind is escaping me. Oh, I walk out to go to work, and I don't see them in the lobby. I don't see them in the parking lot. I don't see them anywhere, because I was gonna like wave and whatever, but I didn't see them. So I was like, okay, whatever. I go to work. I come back from work. Jenny eventually comes back. I'm pretty sure that Pikachu came back like some time in the night. Obviously Seafoam came back because she always came back Sunday nights. But when Pikachu came back, she didn't say anything to us, because usually like our ritual, like I said, most nights we all were in the living room talking until like ungodly hours, and then when we go to sleep. But she came in, pretty sure she was probably coming back from work. She came in and she didn't say anything to us. And then she just went to her room. And me and Jenny looked at each other like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. It was like that for the next like 3 days. She just didn't really say anything. I think she would like say a hey or something like that, but she didn't talk to us. It was really strange. And we didn't know what to say, because we had already like texted her that day where she was with her mom, so obviously she knew that we were like worried. But other than that, we didn't know what to say, because she was obviously just choosing not to talk to us. And then it was so weird, because out of the blue, one day while me and Jenny were in the living room, she just decided to interject herself into the conversation like nothing had ever happened. And then I all acted like nothing ever happened, I guess, because me and Jenny obviously thought it was weird. Like when we went to bed that night, we were like, the fuck, why did she just do that? But we were like, you know what, if that's the way she wants to handle this situation, that's the way that we'll just let her handle the situation. Maybe she felt like it was too awkward for her to like bring it up. Okay, so the next couple weeks were exactly as they had been. You know, we were playing Smash Bros together. Pikachu was playing her little game, her other little game that she liked to play when we had too much work to play. But we would always, like, I even practiced my clarinet in the living room with them. Like, we were getting really close. Or so I motherfucking thought. So, like I said, for the next, I think, week or 2 weeks, everything was fine. And then we had room inspections one day, and it came at a really bad time. And like I said, our apartment tended to be messy until the weekend. We usually tried to like straighten up and clean up on the weekend when we weren't so busy. But we had room inspections that we all forgot about on a Thursday, and I remember this so well. It was on a Thursday, and when I realized that we had room inspections, Jenny had to leave. Pikachu had been gone. I don't even think I had seen her that day. I hadn't seen her that whole day. And Seafoam was there, but I was there, and I'm pretty sure that what was making it so hectic? Oh, because I think I came home from like a late class or something, or I was like on my way to a class. It was something where I didn't have a lot of time to try to clean the room. And Seafoam comes out, because it was a mess. It was a mess. Like, there was no way we were gonna pass that inspection if I didn't like try to clean up. And Seafoam and Jenny was kind of like, it is what it is. And I was like, no. So she leaves because she had to go, like she had to be somewhere. And Seafoam comes out and she's like, there's really no point in like cleaning. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna try to like do my best. And she literally just stands there and like watches me clean and just starts talking shit about Pikachu and Jenny, and how even when she roomed with them the semester before, how they kept everything so dirty in the living room, and she would like pick up things and be like, and like, what the fuck is this, blah 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 blah, and literally just watch me clean and then just complained about everything that I was doing. So I was like, that's a lot of fucking negative energy that we don't need as roommates. Like, I don't know why you're talking shit about our roommates when they're not around, but okay, bitch. And cause like I said, up until that point, we hadn't had any problems with her. Everything was fine, and she would talk to us. So the fact that she was like saying all that shit was weird, cause Pikachu had stopped talking shit about her like a while back. She was saying how like a few times she noticed that she wasn't like cleaning after herself, but it wasn't like anything as ham as she was in the very like the day before like the semester started. So the fact that she was like talking shit about them, I was like, you're doing the most. But anyway, so I decided, okay, obviously we need to, if you're having such like, if you really feel compelled to say all this shit, obviously we need to have a roommate powwow. Because I didn't say this to her, but obviously I knew that Pikachu had some concerns. We all had some concerns because we didn't actually, you know what, at that point we had been realizing that she didn't clean up after herself, and we were annoyed about that. So let me take that back. We had discussed that. So I was like, yeah, we all need to talk to each other, because obviously there are 4 different sides of the story going on, and we all need to talk to each other. So I told her, I was like, hey, would you be willing to stay up? Because she always went to bed at like 10. And I was like, hey, would you be willing to stay up a little bit later? Because I know Pikachu doesn't like get off work until like 10 or like 9. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. I can stay up for a roommate talk. So I texted the group chat. And Jenny responded to me, but Pikachu didn't. And I just figured she was busy or whatever. But Jenny was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's have a talk. Okay. So, Seafoam went into her room. We passed the room inspection, by the way. But at 10 o'clock at night, Seafoam was in her room, but with her door open. Because usually if she has her door closed, that means she's gone to sleep. But she had her door open. And me and Jenny were in the living room, shooting the shits, talking, whatever. It's whatever. We still hadn't heard back from Pikachu, but we just figured, oh, she must be like staying up late, or she must be working late, or whatever. I was coming from my room, going into the kitchen, and the way that the apartment was set up, this is the, like, say this is the hallway right here. These are the 2 dorm rooms that face here. This is the bathroom, this is the shower. Okay, you walk towards, if this is the front door, when you walk into the front door, immediately on your right is the kitchen, and the immediate left is the hallway to go to the dorm rooms. So I was walking down that hallway into the kitchen, and as soon as I got to the point where you would get to the front door, Pikachu had come home. And she came in, and I was like, hey girl, what's up? Like how we usually greet each other. She looked at me, walked right past me, and went to her room. And I turned into the living room, and I looked at Jenny, who had been sitting there, because the way that the apartment's set up, you can see so like you come in from the front door, which you immediately see is the living room. Here's the kitchen, here's the hallway to get to the dorms. So Jenny had saw the whole thing, and I looked at her and I was like, am I crazy, or did that bitch just ignore me? And she was like, no, she just ignored you. And I'm just like, okay. And wow, this is really an hour. It's probably gonna be a lot more than that too. And I'm like, okay, that's really fucking weird, but alright. And so I go in the living room, and I'm just feeling really weird about it. I'm like, that's strange, but okay. What happened next? So we're sitting, and me and Jenny aren't really talking. We were just kind of like texting, like, is she okay? Like, should we like go ask her if everything's okay? But we were like, no, we probably shouldn't, because if she like blatantly did that, she probably wants to be left alone. So we're like, alright. So we just start doing our homework, and we're just sitting next to each other doing our homework, whatever. Then out of nowhere, Pikachu rolls in this big ass black suitcase, comes in to the living room and sets it right in front of us, doesn't say shit, and goes back to her room. I kid you not. This bitch took the time out of her day to roll out this big ass suitcase and roll it all the way to the living room. Didn't say shit and went back to her room. And me and Jenny were like, is that our cue to ask if everything's okay? Why is she being so fucking dramatic? Like, why can't she just say something's wrong? I don't understand. And mind you, this was so weird too, and I forgot to mention this, but this was so weird because the night before, and like we were trying to think in our heads, like, did we do something? No, there's no way we could have done something, because the night before, all three of us literally stayed up until like 2 a.m. talking in me and Jenny's room. I had been on video chat with my friend that I had mentioned from the other country, and you know, we had been talking to him for a while, and then he hung up, and then Pikachu was talking to us, and she loved to talk. That bitch loved to talk. So she was talking to us for like a long time, and eventually, yeah, we didn't go to bed until like 2 a.m. the night before. So why would I think that anything was wrong? So that's why this was really fucking weird. So we're like, when she brought that fucking suitcase out, it was so weird. And then this bitch, she just starts going in and out of the dorm, in and out of the dorm, in and out of the dorm. And we're like, what the? Okay, I guess we're not having the roommate talk. What the fuck? So, yeah. We just didn't know what to do. And then at 12 a.m., I can't remember, she just went into her room and closed the door, and I guess she went to sleep. And then we went to sleep. And it was just weird. It was just weird. The next morning, I woke up. Jenny was already gone. But I woke up and I started getting ready. And what did I have on Fridays? I think I had an early class on Fridays or something like that. Something. Maybe. No, I didn't. Something I was doing. Anyway, I was getting ready, and then before I left, I realized I saw Pikachu had her whole snack crate sitting in the hallway. And when I tell you that bitch treasured her snack crate more than anything in this world, this bitch treasured that fucking snack crate. She couldn't stand seafoam so much that she was uncomfortable to be in her regular bed. So she had moved her mattress and like elevated the bed all the way, the bed frame all the way up, moved the mattress on the floor, used the comforter as like a curtain to cover herself. She bought a light that she hooked up underneath so she could see down there, and she had her snack crate so she could play video games, eat snacks, do her own thing down there. That's how much she couldn't stand seafoam, okay? And that's how much her snack crate meant to her. So the fact that her snack crate was sitting in the middle of the hallway, I was like, what the fuck? And I texted Jenny a picture of it, and I was like, dude, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And she doesn't want to talk about it, and I don't understand why. And she was like, what should we do? Like, should we text her? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to text her and see what's up. So I texted her in the group chat again, and I said, hey, I noticed that your snack crate is in the hallway, and I noticed the luggage that you put in the living room yesterday. I really hope that everything's okay. We're really worried about you. Just know that me and Jenny are here if you need anything. Blah, 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 blah. Like a good friend would do. But I really just didn't know what this bitch wanted. Like, I'm trying to reach out to you, and you're not saying anything. So for the next few days, we don't see her at all. And at the time, we had become really close with our RA, and he's a really good friend of mine now. And he was having a program where we were like making pizzas and stuff. So we hadn't seen her in probably like 4 days. Like, just had not seen her. We'd see Seafoam, but we hadn't seen her. And we had talked to Seafoam, and we were like, hey, do you know what's going on with Pikachu? And she's like, no, I haven't talked to her. So none of us knew what was going on. So we go to the program with my RA, and we're making pizzas and blah, 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 blah. And our immediate thought was, is this girl, like, moving out? Because, like, she took the suitcase, she had the snack crate sitting in the hallway. Can't remember at that point if the snack crate was gone or not, because this was back in February where this happened. But basically, I asked the RA, I was like, hey, can I ask you something about someone that we live with? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And he was like, I can't say any names, but yeah. And I was like, so would you happen to know if someone that we're living with is like moving out? And he was like, yeah, she's moving out. She's moving out. And she didn't say anything. Okay, where is she moving to? He's like, oh yeah, she's moving to the apartment building right next door. Like, right, because there was like 2 apartment buildings on campus. So she was moving to the apartment building next to us. And that was particularly weird because it was like, usually if people move out, they just move out on a different level of the same building. But apparently this bitch was so disturbed by something, she felt the need to move out of the whole building and did not say shit about it. And he didn't have any other information other than that. So we were just like, okay, this is weird. This is just weird. We tried to, like, I was really worried, okay? I was really worried about this girl because of the stuff that she had told me, everything like that. And my mind was going a million miles a minute. I was hoping that she was okay because, like, when I tell you that we were getting so close as friends, and the night before any of the bullshit started happening, it was like any other night. So the fact that all of this was happening was so weird. And I don't think I'm gonna... So basically, one day, I was like, you know what, the next time I see King would know what's going on. I'm gonna ask her. And so I think a few days later, I saw King when I was walking to my dorm, and I was like, hey, have you heard anything about Pikachu? Me and Jenny have been trying to text her and stuff, but nothing's been going through, or she hasn't been responding to anything. And we just found out that she's like moving out, but she didn't say anything to us. And she was like, yeah, we did talk, and she's with her parents right now, and she'll be back Saturday. So I was like, okay, well, do you know why she's moving out? And she was like, no, I have no idea. And I was like, okay, I guess me and Jenny will just talk to her on Saturday. And so we were just like, hey, we'll get to the bottom of this on Saturday. So the rest of the week goes by, and Friday morning I wake up to laughter. And I knew it was Pikachu's voice because Pikachu has a very distinct voice, and I could hear somebody else's voice in the kitchen area. And I was like, oh, maybe it's Jenny, and like they're like hashing things out and whatever. And so I'm getting up and I'm like, oh, let me put my clothes on so I can like finally, like we're finally gonna be able to talk to this girl. And then I start hearing like a bunch of different voices. And thinking about this right now has got my heart so hot. I'm hearing a bunch of different voices. And I'm like, is this girl moving out today and she like brought her whole family? And I'm like sitting in my room and I'm like listening, and I heard her mom's voice. And her mom is like, come on girl, like this is gross, blah 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 blah. This shouldn't be like this. Get this and this and this and this. And Pikachu, I can hear her saying, yeah, this is gross. They don't ever clean up after themselves. They don't ever do this and this and this. Talking shit about me, Jenny, and Seafoam. As if the mess was just ours and she didn't do anything to contribute. So I'm fucking hot, and I start blowing up Jenny's phone, and I'm like, you will not believe this bitch brought her whole fucking family. And I walk out because I was like, you know what, I need to get ready for the day, and I'm not gonna let these bitches like, because I'm fucking heated. I can't believe that she would talk about us like that. So I walk out to like start brushing my teeth, wash my face, and they see me walk out, and I look into the room, and there's about 5 of them. They all saw me because when I walked, because I think that they thought that I wasn't there. So I opened the room, all the talking stopped, and they saw me and didn't say anything to me. I didn't say anything to them either. I was like, oh, that's how we're gonna fucking play this. And I go into, and I take a shower and everything. And a whole bunch of more shit happened this day. This day, I got the maddest I've been in a very long time. But I'm gonna stop this here because it's an hour and 8 minutes, and it's probably gonna take forever to process. So I'm gonna stop this here. I'm gonna make a part 2. I'm gonna upload that. Thinking about this just gets me so fucking mad. Gracias por ver el video y 再见todos.